Joining us now live from Melbourne, exclusively on Bloomberg, is the Whitehaven CEO, Tony Haggarty. Many thanks indeed for joining us, Tony. How would you describe the last few days again? Are you very content with this deal again, or are some concerns about being overpriced frustrating you?
Oh, no, look, we're very pleased with the deal. We think it's a very good reflection of the relative value between the two companies, and we think it's a classic case of, 2 + 2 = 5. It's a merger that's creating something of bigger value for all shareholders.
The interesting thing is, of course, you're trying to sell Whitehaven itself. Now, you're buying Aston. Is that a precursor to perhaps making your company, Whitehaven, more valuable as a sale, or are you now off the market?
Look, the circumstances last year were that Whitehaven was pushing ahead with its development plan. We were approached by potential buyers, more than one, and so the process that we ran last year was in response to those approaches. It was never the case that the board sought to sell the company, so that process worked its way through. We didn't get an offer that was acceptable. Now we have an opportunity to grow the company, so there hasn't been a change in direction. It's just the way that the circumstances have unfolded.
When you say change of direction, you mean therefore you're still up for sale, or you're now not for sale?
No, we never were, in the sense that we set out to do that. I mean, the public company, we're always for sale if the price is right, but we were always setting out to grow this company. We had people offering to buy. We had to evaluate that to see if those offers were something that our shareholders would want to consider. They weren't. We went through that process and we didn't get a suitable offer. So our growth strategy has always remained on foot. We've kept going throughout that process, and we still are continuing with our growth profile. So the opportunity to merge with Aston and create a much more substantial company is entirely consistent with that growth path that we've been on.
Now, it gives you Moores Creek in New South Wales again, going to double your, in fact, output by 2016, so therefore the organic growth potential is pretty huge, isn't it? I mean, is that the future for you? No more, if you like, M&A activity. It's looking now to really integrate Aston and really grow organically. Yes,
look, our growth has been organic. The company has some excellent assets within it already, and our plan was to take it from 5 million tonnes to 15 million tonnes over the next few years. The acquisition of Aston, or the merger with Aston, builds on that. We'll then have a very strong position in the Gunnedah Basin and would give us those organic growth opportunities up to 25 million tonnes. The company also has a lot more resource and reserve, so there are other organic growth opportunities there. We don't rule out corporate activity. We're always looking at opportunities, but there's certainly a lot more growth within the company in the future.
We've got BlackRock saying that, in fact, the coal industry, like you just said, it will see a lot more M&A in the next year because of low valuations. Do you agree with that as the coal price just softens a bit?
Oh, look, I think short-term changes in the coal market, come and go. Coal prices soften, equity prices move a little, but I think what people are investing in, and certainly what we're investing in, is the long-term trend here, and we're seeing, a global development, a global growth, which is demanding energy and steel. Those are the things that are fired by coal, and so we're seeing a very strong demand pattern around the world, and I think there'll be ups and downs along the way, but the underlying trend is very positive for commodities generally and for coal. So I think people are investing in that big picture, in that long cycle.
It's a big debate, which country is really offering the biggest demand again. You're riding, excuse the pun, at the coalface, if you like. India or China, which one do you think next year is going to be really pushing demand for your product?
Look, it's a hazardous game to pick those trends, but look, they're both very important. yeah, they're very different, as everyone knows, but they're both very important. And I think the common feature there is that there's 1 billion people in each place. They're all very determined to improve their standard of living. And the timing of that and how precisely it works, you know, we'll all be very interested to see over time. But fundamentally, there's 2 billion people there trying to improve their standard of living, and the only way they can do that is with more raw materials and more energy, and you know, that's where our sector sees the potential.
Tony Haggarty, many thanks indeed, and also congratulations on your deal with Aston.